a shot, so we ain't not dealing. Gotta wake up and tell yourself there's no end to what you can do. What you do is don't waste your body and soul if you allow them to. This is the time to stop believing in yourself. Put the blame on no one else.
Hey guys, it's Nicole here, back on this very early Sunday morning. I meant to have this video out hours ago, but forgive me. Just still tightening up some things and finding things. My whole entire computer, everything was just gone. So forgive me. I know it's been a minute since you guys have heard from me, but no, I have not forgotten about you all. No, I have not given up on my channel. I just had to take some time and get this program on point, working again. So do forgive me. Do forgive me. But I said once I return back to doing my videos, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Tarana Burke because it has been bugging my last nerve, this woman. We all know who she is. She was the original founder of the Me Too movement, okay? And we all know how it basically got started. Alyssa Milano, the has-been actress, look at me being mean. This woman, you know, she doesn't have a lot going on. So now her job, I guess, is being some type of feminist, female activist. Okay, whatever. Do what you got to do to get the bills paid. So she went around hashtagging Me Too, and then folks started to dig in and discovered that the actual saying was actually started by a woman named Tarana Burke. So Tarana Burke, her name got around, people started to give her credit, but still and yet it still got hijacked, and liberal white Hollywood took it over and morphed it into something that we pretty much expected. And now you have Tarana Burke at some conference out of Michigan about a week or so ago, proclaiming that she is wanting this to be reined back in, and it needs to be focused on poor women. Okay? Poor women. And I'm just here to say, too little, too late, Tarana. Too little, too late. And there's portions of this article that I'm going to read to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will leave the link in the description for you guys to read if you want to read the whole thing. But there are portions of this article that I want to touch on. Okay? And it goes back to the title of this video. Dear Black women, you have no friends. Okay? You have no friends. So here we go. She didn't look like Alyssa Milano. Yeah. But maybe that's because Tarana Burke, founder of the Me Too movement that has led to complaint and indictments against dozens of men and some women for sexual harassment and assault, is a big, bold, fierce, powerful, outspoken Black woman who is finally being seen. And in a keynote address at the Facing Race conference that brought more than 3,500 people to Detroit to discuss social justice, Burke brought down the house, defiantly challenging the movement she started a decade before movie producer Harvey Weinstein was outed for his behavior, saying that it better pay attention to the original survivors. See, this is where it's a joke, okay? She can do this all day long. At the end of the day, these folks have their own agenda, and it doesn't include us, as we've seen. And here's the part that I'm just like, okay. Here she goes. The number one thing I hear from folks is that the Me Too movement has forgotten about us, she said of Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. Every day we hear some version of that. But this is what I am here to tell you. The Me Too movement is not defined by what the media has told you. We are the movement. And so I need you to opt out of the Me Too movement. I need you to reframe your work to include sexual violence. That's how we take back the narrative. Stop giving your power away to white folks. But Tarana, you did that already. When you started to mingle with folks like Alyssa Milano, you did that. Not us, not actual victims, real victims. You got out here, you rubbed elbows and shoulders and everything else with these people. And now here she is, literally begging folks to bring it back to what it's supposed to be about. But in my opinion, you've already sold out. When you got on television talking about black folks, black men, nah. Too little, too late, in my opinion. Okay, and she goes on to say, many people say the Me Too movement, well, Hollywood's got it. Fuck Hollywood. Every time somebody asks me how I feel about them taking my movement, I say, you can't take shit that's mine. This is not about Tarana Burke owning something. This is about a community that I have lived in, worked in, given my blood, sweat, and tears to. This is our movement, so stop opting out of it. More begging, because she know that many folks are now starting to see it for what it is. Okay? They just are. Burke says she will not let her movement that she founded in 2006 and that has resulted in her getting death threats and having to challenge black leaders to support it, be co-opted by pretty girls in Hollywood. Too late. This is not about awareness. It's about action, the 45-year-old activist said at Detroit's Convention Center. With Me Too being as big and loud as it is, we don't need more awareness. This is about what happens after the hashtag, after the hoopla. This is about the work. Okay. Just what truly can be said when many people don't really see her at the forefront. I mean, yeah, they'll give her credit, but at the end of the day, Hollywood and Hollyweird, as I like to call it, took over it with Time's Up and all that crap. But there was something else that caught my eye. All right. So here's something she said. We heard every manner of excuse. It's really about white supremacy because our folks don't have a history of that kind of thing back in Africa. Or the real issue isn't sexual violence, it's false accusations against black men. Listen to this. Or my personal favorite, this is not a social justice issue. This is a social work issue. The most vulnerable victims of sexual violence and harassment do not deserve the silence they endure in their communities outside the larger movement. That is at the top of the news, she said. And you see here, this is the problem I have with her. She tries to say that white supremacy doesn't play a role in this, when I'm here to tell you what happened to Bill Cosby was all about white supremacy. Everything about it. And this is why I can't even support someone like her. I can't. Because she knows the real deal. But she is sitting up here trying her best to hold on to these people. But at the same time, she's trying to say, hey, no, it's really about us. It's really about minority women. This is what she's doing now. But this is what I really want you guys to hear. In a powerful moment after her speech, Burke talked about life on the front line, something else she hopes the Me Too movement does not ignore, and something in the telling that moved her to tears. "This is hard," she said. "These are mostly women of color, queer women of color, who are dealing with layers of shit. I've gotten more death threats from black men than anybody else. After Cosby was indicted and R. Kelly took off, I got tons of threats from black men. Some of them were death threats," she said. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, she's lying. But I feel like when you put this out here, you better have receipts. You had better have receipts, because now folks are just, especially black men, they cannot stand her now. They are not going to be able to even stand this woman. So here she goes saying that black men are now attacking her because of what happened to Cosby, and when folks started talking about, or like her, who were bringing up R. Kelly. So she's doing this now. So now she's blaming black men. "Why do we have to die?" she asked. "I am not saying people writing on Facebook you should die. I'm talking about coming to your house. I'm talking about having to relocate. This is not a game. We are in the midst of a crisis around that. I've got a child. I had to pull my daughter out of school over some bullshit. I'm sorry to keep cursing, but it's just not easy." Well, Tarana, when you put yourself out there for something like this is what happens. Instead of just focusing on the folks or the so-called victims that you are speaking of, and not rubbing elbows with these folks in Hollywood, letting them hijack a movement and twisting it into something else, why wouldn't black men or black people in general just say, nah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this at all. So these are the portions from this article that I wanted you guys to hear. Those are the parts that stuck out to me. So excuse me, guys, because I'm going over it, the article and things I wanted to talk about. But Tarana, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Tamika. Now, we've all heard what's going on with her. We all know that she has been one of the leaders of the women's movement. And the so-called founder, doesn't even want her over it because of her connections with the minister Louis Farrakhan. And now they want Tamika and others that are a part of this to basically be gone. So the original founder of the Women's March has called on the organization's 4 co-chairs to step down from their posts for allowing anti-Semitic and hateful racist rhetoric to tarnish the organization's platform. Founder Teresa Shook on Monday penned a lengthy Facebook post blasting board members Bob Bland, Tamika D. Mallory, Linda Sassour, I know I'm probably screwing up her name, forgive me, Carmen Perez, arguing that they should resign after steering the pro-women's movement off course. Now, folks, for those of you who watched that, the women's movement last year, I believe, or a year before, but one of those years, they were saying that I think over 500,000 people, or even 1 million. I was hearing these crazy estimates of women that came out and even men that came out to support this women's march. Okay, so now they're making it into an annual thing. And so we saw, once again, who else? Alyssa Milano came out saying she's not going to be a part of nothing because Miss Mallory and others are part of this, women's movement. They have their associations with the minister. Once again, showing or trying to demand that they go somewhere because of their connections. Where do you see Alyssa Milano calling out these other white racist men, like your Trumps and others. Where is she about that? Who is she to tell what she's not going to do if somebody isn't gone? See, this is what I am talking about, and many others are talking about. Black women, you have no friends. Now, I don't have to speak for Tamika Mallory. Tamika Mallory is smart, intelligent, sharp, powerful in her own way. So I don't even have to talk for Tamika, because Tamika knows what's up. And someone like her and these other women who are over this, you know what I'd say? I'd say, screw you, Teresa Shook. You can go to hell, and we'll do our own thing. Because it's only showing that white women like Teresa Shook don't want to see women like Tamika bringing out these women. They want them gone so they can go put folks like Alyssa Milano over it. And your Deborah Messing, those folks, they want them to be running this. They don't want you. They don't want you. And this is another reason why I don't get down with feminism. I just don't. Because at the end of the day, this is what they do. You think you're a part of something, but no, you're not. When you think you're leading something, they're like, no, Negro, you go to the back of the bus. And this is all this is. So for me personally, nah. I wouldn't support it. I would not support it. And I think now that Tamika and the other women, folks know them now, they need to do their own thing. They need to be separated from them. I wouldn't be wanting to be a part of something like this. How dare you? You know, you same folks, Teresa Shook, who like to take things that the minister said out of context. Who are you to tell her what to do and who to have friends with? And this is why. This is why to the white people who may hear this and you don't have this mentality, this is what we're talking about. And this is what you guys got to get in check and fix. Because there is no way that they should be telling this woman what to do when it comes to who she's associated with. Who are you associated with, Teresa Shook? Who are you? Okay? I'm you know, it just boggles the mind because we don't need them. We can do our own thing. And that's the whole point of this. You have no friends. They still think like their white male counterparts. They try to act like they're so liberal and feminist and this and that. But at the end of the day, they're still thinking like their men do. Okay? Telling you what to do. Dictating to you what to do. When you have your own mind, your own mouth, and they don't tell you what to do, you tell them where to go. So, you know, when it comes to both of them, I don't have as much beef against Miss Mallory than I do Tarana Burke. Tarana Burke, she does something to me. Okay. And I feel like all this is now just a desperate move on her part for folks not to forget about her and what she's doing. And my thing is, I can still care for folks, for victims, but I wouldn't follow a movement such as Tarana Burke's because it's been corrupted. Same thing with this so-called women's movement. Black women should have nothing to do with either. You can do your own things, helping your own communities, and not be involved and mixed up with these people. Because at the end of the day, they want to be running things. Okay? They'll give you, they'll let you drive the ship for a little bit. And then when they're sick of you, they want you gone. And they want theirs running things. And we know this. So, you know, I just wanted to speak on this. And I am hoping that folks like Miss Mallory and others, please stop depending on these people. Let's stop depending on these people. And I don't even have to tell Tamika Mallory this. She already knows this. When this woman speaks, it's crazy. She's amazing. She don't have to do this. bowing down to these devils. No. No. And I hope she doesn't cave in. I hope she doesn't give in. And I hope she doesn't try to separate herself from the minister. I don't see her doing that because she's already came out and said, no, I'm not going to disassociate myself from him. So you can kick rocks. So I hope she continues to keep that spirit in her. And I feel like she can do this on her own. She doesn't need someone like a Teresa Shook wagging her finger at her like she's some little child. No. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this, guys. Whew, didn't mean to go that long, but I just had to get that out. Let me know what you think about this, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video.
If you give yourself a chance.